all. Thanks for joining me today. It's Maryann over here, and today we have a topic that I am really excited to cover with you. It's progressing from pain to fitness. What does that progression look like, and what does it take to get yourself from being in pain to being fit? So today I am going to go over 2 case studies with you first to show what this progression looks like. And I'm going to introduce you to a concept that I've created called the Fitness Continuum, which is going to help to create a visual for you around this process of progressing from pain to fitness. And finally, I'm going to bust a myth that's really common in the fitness industry today that is probably something that you've heard of, that we've all heard of, that is a huge myth that's out there that we're going to go ahead and bust that myth up. So let's get started. And when you tune in today, please let me know that you're here. Post something to the comments. Give me a thumbs up. Let's be interactive. Let's talk and get to know one another. So to get started, a case study that I think is a really good way to show you what it is that I'm talking about here when it comes to progressing from pain to fitness is a woman that came to see me for hip pain about, can't remember when it was that she first came to see me. So she worked with me over Skype. She was living in Japan at the time. And the main thing to notice about this picture here on this side is the alignment of her body. And so this is what happens when we're trying to work out. We have pain in either the shoulders, the hips, the knees, the ankles, or the back, or somewhere in between. And we're, doing all the things that we're trying to do to get better, but we're stuck in this situation of having pain and not being able to progress the way that we want to. And the reason for that, the reason why we have pain, and the reason that we're not able to progress out of pain and into fitness is because the body is off balance. And so we can clearly see that here in this picture on this side, that this girl's body is almost, it's leaning off to the side. And so over here is an example of improved posture alignment. So we returned her body to a better position, and she was able to go back to her sport of kettlebells free of pain in her hip. So let's talk a little bit more about what's going on here and how we were able to produce that result. So the human body consists of 8 major load-bearing joints, and if you're just tuning in, thanks so much for joining me today. It's great to have you. So the human body consists of 8 load-bearing joints: shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. And those joints are designed to align vertically and horizontally. So this is the design blueprint of the human body. And when the body is properly aligned this way, from the front view, we can see the thumb and the forefinger. So we don't see the backs of the hands. We see the thumb and the forefinger. We see the knee joint directly below the hip joint. And we see the foot directly below the knee and hip with the foot pointed straight ahead. And then from the side view, correct posture alignment is the earlobe. I know you can barely see that there, but the earlobe is directly above the shoulder. The shoulder is above the hip, the knee, and the ankle. So we should be able to pass a straight line through those 8 load-bearing joints. And the human body is designed to be balanced. The left half of the body balances with the right half of the body, and the front side of the body balances with the back side of the body. So we have to have that balance with both halves of the body in order for the body to be able to function free of pain and free of injury. And if you're joining me today, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm excited to have you here with me this afternoon. And so going back to this first case study, clearly we can see that the 8 load-bearing joints here in this scenario, when this woman was experiencing hip pain, the 8 load-bearing joints are off balance. And the way that we were able to progress this woman from pain to fitness, no pain, is we restored the position of the 8 load-bearing joints. So that was case study number 1. And case study number 2, this woman came to see me with pain in her sacroiliac joint. Here we go. You see that there. Okay, so here's case study number 2. This woman is a CrossFit athlete and a weightlifter, and she was at a stalemate with her front squat at 165 pounds. And during her front squat, she experienced pain, acute pain in her sacroiliac joint, her low back. And the problem here was that her body was off balance. So her 8 load-bearing joints, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles, were not in the proper alignment. And the aftermath here, so this is about 1 month later, we restored alignment to the 8 load joints, and the pain in her low back went away, and she was actually able to progress in her weight training past 165 pounds in her front squat, and she's gone on to compete in several CrossFit competitions since then. And Mandy, thanks for joining. I see that we have you online. Fantastic to see you. So what happens, how do our bodies become out of alignment? Well, we don't move enough. We drive cars to and from work, we work at a computer, we use smartphones, and even though we dedicate solid time to our workouts and our fitness, unfortunately the rest of the time we're just not moving enough. So what ends up happening is our bodies become off balance, and we go to play our favorite sport, our favorite activity, we have pain, and then what we do is we try to address the side of the pain. We try to address the symptom, and what usually gets missed is addressing the bigger picture and the overall cause of the pain, which is the 8 load-bearing joints are off balance: shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. So what I have done to create a visual for you, and I'm really excited about this, I've called this my Fitness Continuum. And what this is, gosh, excuse me here while I get this all lined up. And hey Mandy, is this writing backwards on your end? Hey Amelie, thanks so much for joining me from all the way from Sweden. I'm so glad that you're with me here. So if either of you, Mandy or Amelie, if you could post to the comments and let me know if you can see this writing here, or if this writing is backwards. Okay, Mandy says yes, fantastic. So this is what I call the Fitness Continuum. And I created this to give you a visual of what it actually looks like to progress from pain to fitness. So over here on one end of the spectrum, we have, oh, Mandy says backwards. Okay. Backwards. Here we go. Fixing it now. How's that? Better? That should be better. I flipped my camera around. All right, so Fitness Continuum. And Amelie, by the way, how do you say your name, Amelie? Let me know. I think it's Amelie, and I'm not sure. Mandy says perfect. Okay, fantastic. So let's rock and roll with the Fitness Continuum. So over here on this side, we have pain, we have a 0 out of 100, and then over here on this side, we have fitness, and this is like ultimate fitness. This is like Superwoman, Superman status. You're at 100 out of 100, and if you're experiencing pain and limitation in your workout, you're somewhere over here on the Fitness Continuum. Maybe you're not at a 0, but you're somewhere down here on this end of the continuum. And the question is, how do I get myself from here to here? Because what ends up happening is most of us hover somewhere in this realm right here where we have pain and we start to feel a little bit better, so we start working out again, and then we have pain again either in the same part of the body or a different part of the body, so then we fall back down the spectrum, we regress a little bit. And so we end up in this vicious cycle of never quite busting through this level right here where we have no pain and we're able to progress to the level of fitness that we really want. So what's happening here, if we go back to the pictures of the case studies that I showed you earlier, is that the root cause of the problem is not being addressed, and that's what's keeping us hovering in that state of never progressing past pain and dysfunction. And so the key to getting past what I'm going to call that sticking point right there, where you're pain-free, you're symptom-free, and you're able to strengthen and progress into the things that you really want to do with confidence that you're not going to re-injure yourself, the key to this is fixing the body and eliminating compensation. So this is key right here. And this is what gets missed. I would go as far as to say that that step gets missed, fixing the body, eliminating compensation, about 90% of the time. And what happens is, instead of fixing the body and eliminating compensation, we try to fix the movement, right? So we modify the movement. Instead of continuing to run, we blame the knee pain on the high impact of running. And what do? Well, we start biking. Well, that's a good idea if it's temporary, but that way of thinking and that approach is never going to get you past that no pain, symptom-free point where you can continue to progress, strengthen, and do the things that you really want to do, which, if you're like me, we want to run, we want to lift heavy weights, we want to do the things that we love to do without pain, pain and fear of re-injury. So that's what this is all about. So when you can fix the body and eliminate the compensations that are the root cause of the pain that you're experiencing, if you can focus on that and stick with that, keep in mind that this is a process that takes months, if not years. Okay, so if you can stick with that, get yourself to a place where you have no pain and you're symptom-free. At that point, this is, I would say, a critical point along this continuum, and here's why. Because most people, they stop here. What do? They stop doing their stuff, the stuff that's fixing them. Because what do? We get to this point where we're pain-free, we're symptom-free, we say, woohoo, we're fixed, and we go out and we start doing all the things that we want to do, or we just forget about all of that hard work that we did to get us to this point. And then what happens? Well, we never progress past that point of not being in pain. So again, to review, to get ourselves from here to here, first we have to fix the body that we're bringing to the sport. We have to eliminate compensation. And then when we get ourselves here, where we are pain-free and we are symptom-free, well, guess what? You've got to keep doing your stuff. The stuff that's fixing the body can never stop. So even when you get past that point of being pain-free and you start getting up here into this high level, you must continue to eliminate compensation. And at that point, you can incorporate movement. This is where you start to do what I call the sexy stuff, the heavy lifts, the distance runs, the marathons, the things that get us medals and recognition amongst our friends. This is the stuff that we want to be doing. But guess what? You don't get to do that stuff without pain, at least not in the long run, unless you keep up with the work that got you to this point where you have no pain. And I told you all that we were going to bust one myth today, but I just realized we're going to bust two myths. So the myth that I didn't plan on covering is we all have this myth or this misconception that high-level athletes, people that are performing up here at this level are perfect. They're gods. They have no dysfunction. They have no pain. And they never have to do any of this stuff. Well, that's not true, okay? I have worked with high-level athletes. I've worked with CrossFit Games level athletes. And I will tell you that professional athletes, Olympic level athletes, athletes that are playing in the NFL, that are playing in the pros, their bodies are compensating just as much as anybody else's. They are very strong at compensating. And unfortunately, the ones that don't do the work to fix the body and to eliminate the compensation, those are the ones that end their career early or they have a high pain threshold and they deal with a great deal of pain and dysfunction as they go through their career, which is unfortunate. So to bust that myth, it's not true. Professional athletes have to do the same level of work, and many of them do. They put in a lot of work to be able to perform at that high level. So I'm going to come over here, see if we've gotten any comments in the meantime. It looks like you all are still with me. Fantastic. And the process is very important to, if you are going to embrace this process, it's very important to keep in mind the amount of time that this takes. So for me personally, I hovered in this pain realm, pain area from the age 19 to the age 30. So for me personally, I hovered in this area for 11 years. Okay? So that was no fun. And that's what I did. Hovered in that area for 11 years. And when I finally got myself to the place of being pain-free, symptom-free, and when I began to progress in my fitness to where I am today, by all means, I am not at a 100, but I am up here where I'm able to do the things that I love to do without fear that I'm going to injure myself. So for me to get from here to here, well, today I am 35 years old, so that took me 5 years to continue my progression from here to here. And what that has taken me is continuing to do the work that has eliminated compensation and at the same time incorporating movements, different types of movements, varying the movement. Mostly I pick movements that I enjoy, movements that are fun, and continuing to maintain that balance, because it really is a balance that requires listening to my body. And this process really is a process that requires learning how to listen to your body and learning to the signals that your body is sending you. If something doesn't feel right, something causes a little bit of pain, that's your body's way of telling you that it's just not ready for that movement, and it's time to focus a little bit more here until you can get back to that movement that you want to do. So the way that you inch your way up this ladder is by continuously addressing the body, not modifying the movement. You can modify the movement temporarily, but the focus is always on addressing the body, fixing the compensation so that the body can move through a full range of motion the way that it's designed to move. Because at the end of the day, if the human mind can conceive of the movement, the human body is supposed to do that movement, okay? So, myth buster, the myth that we're going to bust up today. It's the body. Okay, let me start over. The myth. Your injury or pain was caused by the movement. So this is a huge, huge, huge myth that is just not true. So let's do this here. Hi, Lisa, and hi, Trish. Woohoo! Good to see you both. Trish, I thought you were supposed to be working. Okay, I guess Trish is taking a little break. And Lisa, thanks for joining me. I hope you're well. Hope your classes are going well. So the myth is your injury or pain was caused by the movement. So I'm going to give you an example of the myth. My knee pain was caused by the high impact of running. Okay? And you can fill in the blanks there with any body part and any movement. Lisa says, great presentation. Thanks, Lisa. Oh, cool. Trish, you're on your lunch break. I love it. So the myth is, and fill in the blanks to where this applies to you, my knee pain was caused by the impact of running. Okay, so I believed that myth, and I put up with chronic knee pain for 10 years because I believed that the pain in my knee was inherently a knee problem, and I believed that high-impact sports like running, lunging, and squatting were bad for my knees. So I eliminated those movements. I eliminated lunges. I eliminated the squats, and I stopped running. And I had a huge limitation of chronic knee pain for 10 years. And that knee pain eventually turned into hip pain and back pain, which eventually led to my being in a wheelchair. Now, that's a very dramatic story. You probably are not in that dramatic of a situation, let's hope. But the myth was that the movement was the exercise, the impact, the lunges, the squats were causing my knee pain. And the same goes for the shoulder. The myth is that the heavy overhead press is causing the shoulder pain. So it's a myth. The truth is, it's the body you're bringing to the sport that matters. So in the case of my knee pain and running, it was my body that I was bringing to the lunges that was causing the knee pain. It was the body that I was bringing to the running, the body that I was bringing to the track that was causing the knee pain, not the track itself. And the whole issue here, stick with the example of running, is that when the hip joints are off balance, one knee is going to take a little bit more wear and tear than the other, and guess what? Gradually over time, you're going to end up with pain. Hey, Brendan, thanks so much for joining. Great to see you today, all the way from Scotland. Hope my accent is decent there. Feel free to correct me if you'd like. So getting back to the example, it's just like taking your misaligned car out on the freeway. What's going to happen? You're going to blow a tire. And in the situation of the car, we hardly ever blame the tire. We know the car is off balance. We know the car needs to be addressed. So what do? Well, we take it into the mechanic, and if we're willing to spend the money, we can get the car realigned, and we can replace the tire, but we know that replacing the tire isn't really going to fix the problem. We know that if we just replace the tire, we're going to end up with another blown tire, and usually we're not willing to do that because it's really dangerous to drive down the freeway that way. So Mandy said, Brendan says, hiya. No, it was terrible. I won't try again, I promise. Mandy, I love that you're touching on this. So many people believe the myth. I hear ya. And it's unfortunate because I think we don't want to believe the myth. It's that we're never told otherwise. So that's why I'm doing this talk, because I'd like to get the word out about this. Trish Davis says, great talk, babe. Thank you, Trish. So getting back to the example, well, what's the deal? Okay, so it's the body that you're bringing to the sport that needs to be addressed, that needs to be aligned. And when you realign the body, the pain goes away. And that's where the rubber hits the road with your mindset, because it's hard to believe that when we're in pain and we have the limitation. It's very, very hard, almost like a leap of faith, to believe that my body will be better when my alignment is better. And guess what? I have proof. I did squats this week, and I have no knee pain after having dealt with knee pain for 10 years. Michelle over here, she got her hip out of pain by fixing the position of her hip joint, by fixing the position of her body. Trish over here, she got her body back into alignment, and she eliminated the pain in her SI joint. So it's possible, guys and gals. It's a matter of focusing on the right stuff, not letting yourself be told otherwise, doing the work and sticking with it consistently over time. Thank you so much for joining me. This was great to be with you all. Once again, my name is Maryann Berry, if you don't know me. I can be reached at my website. You can learn more about me by visiting my website. It's www.realigntherapy.com. And you can reach me personally by sending me an email, maryann@realigntherapy.com. And Kim, hey Kim. Kim says this is exactly correct. Western medicine does not understand this. We need to look beyond merely putting a Band-Aid on a symptom. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kim, for that comment. So what else? I will be here live next week, Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. So I look forward to seeing you all then. And thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye.